Welcome back, guys, to another episode of For the Republic. I'm Louis Valentine with my very good friend, Karen Deep Singh. KD, what's up, man?
Yo, how's it going?
Doing all right. And we got a more than all right. We have a great episode today, a lot of great topics, a lot of big news this week, not just political, big news. We have Tucker Carlson fired or let go from Fox News this last Friday. We have Joe Biden finally releasing a video saying he's going to rerun. They probably found him on a good day. We have a lot of other topics like Elon Musk with Bill Maher, and we're going to talk all about those and more on this episode. So stay tuned. All right, Candy, we're going to start with the first topic. Tucker Carlson out at Fox News, replaced with TBD. A bunch of people, honestly. Will Kane, Brian Kilmeade. I haven't watched Fox since. I don't think I haven't watched really. I haven't watched Fox I hadn't watched them a couple days before them, anyways. Not because of this, but this just reinforces it because there's really nothing else for me to watch there.
All right.
Um, so your thoughts? What did you think? Were you surprised? Were you happy? Were you sad? Did Fox News betray you? Did they capitulate to the far left, to the corporate right? Thoughts?
Oh yeah, no. I was very surprised seeing Tucker let go. Assuming. Um, I just saw some stuff how Fox is being owned by some other. I'm assuming a company. I forget the name of the company. Um, people think that maybe that's the reason why he was let go because he's too big on Fox News. He does get a lot of viewers. Especially after when he got kicked out, he did like a separate interview or a separate live video, and he gained like
Yeah, you did
what
a video.
50 million views.
I think it got like 42 or almost 50 million views.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
insanely impressive.
right.
Um, but no, definitely surprised for sure.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. I was sad. I was like, wow, that's just
Yeah,
it's not a great way it's not a great way to start the week.
I'm not.
I think it broke on Monday, so it's not a great way to start the week considering, so much going on. And he had just finished that Elon interview and he had just spoke with Trump and he was doing stuff on Fox Nation. Um, I was listening around and watching other shows. When it came to this, I said, you know what? I'm gonna watch Megyn Kelly because Megyn Kelly left Fox and she knows people at Fox,
Hmm.
and so she might have a scoop. And she doesn't work there anymore, so she can say stuff that others wouldn't. And she had Victor Davis Hanson on that day.
Okay.
I think that was Tuesday, and they were discussing it. And pretty much, she just the family you're talking about, the Fox Corp. It has a parent company. I think it's like Fox Corporation or like it's a global news because it's owned and controlled by the Murdoch family.
Hmm.
Rupert Murdoch, who I think is like 89 or 90 something. They're Australian, and they own a bunch of other news channels. I think the Sun. I think Sky News in England and Australia. So they're not, they're media moguls. He's a media mogul, and so
Right.
that's the family. Like, I guess there's a couple routes you could take, a couple theories you could have into why he was fired. Now, what I heard from Megyn Kelly on the show was that she heard from sources at Fox that the decision came from Rupert Murdoch, the old man, right from the top. I think it was personal. More that she says that she was heard that it was more personal than it was a business decision. Because I know there's other people saying that, well, they just settled with Dominion. Maybe that's part of what I certainly thought.
Yeah. Right.
I thought
Right.
that, yeah, I thought that the lawsuit, the settlement included that Fox would have to let go of Tucker. But then I thought again, it's like, well, Tucker wasn't one of the crazy voices on Fox with the whole election. Uh, I remember watching, and this is when I just threw away the idea that Trump was going to be installed again as president in 2020,
Hmm.
and that this election was stolen. It's when Sidney Powell went on Tucker, and he pretty much said, if you're going to talk about this, you got to show us proof because you've been talking all this talk late since I think it was in December,
Right.
and she had nothing, and she never had anything, and that's another big regret of the Trump how the Trump presidency ended the first time. Um, yeah, and I remember watching that and saying, yeah, no, he's just not buying it. He's not buying it not because he doesn't think it happened, but because he hasn't been shown proof by the people that keep saying they have the proof.
Right.
And it was like, I think late November, early December, and it was like time's running up for you to do anything, and you're not getting anything done. So that to me just threw that out the window. And then hearing what she said is, it was his decision. Now I don't know why he would do that. It's not the biggest. I don't think it's the best business decision. Now Tucker did lose a lot of advertisers. If you remember 2020, 2021, remember he was always anti big pharma, anti vax, anti the COVID vaccine. I mean,
For sure, yeah.
anti pretty much anti corporate establishment.
Hmm.
Um, I think he's one of the more realer or more authentic conservative voices,
Right.
a more populist voice at Fox, because I don't think Sean obviously isn't, Laura isn't either. None of them are. They're all old corporate Republicans who they'll corporate tax cuts and they're fine. Then the other theory, and it's what Trump was saying. The people that sit on the board, and some of them are rhinos like Paul Ryan, former speaker. Maybe they had a hand in convincing him. I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't make sense though, you know, that you let go your biggest star. I mean, he gets the second most views, and of that time slot, the 8 p.m. time slot on cable news, he gets the most views out of all the networks. I
Hmm.
mean, I can't even name who works CNN or CBS or NBC. I have no idea who does it.
Right.
I think MSNBC. I have no idea. I think it might be that Ariel guy or Ari something guy, whatever the names are. What's her face? The Joy, is that her name? Joy, I think.
Joy Reid, yeah.
Joy Reid. It might be her. Who knows if she still exists? It obviously isn't Don Lemon.
But
Also got fired.
one thing was also crazy. I think it was a day before, a couple days before, AOC called out for Tucker to uh, that he should leave Fox News because he
Yeah,
was quote unquote dangerous.
yeah, yeah.
I
Now
don't know
that's
about
what I was going
AOC
to get to
though.
that, because that was the other theory that the Fox News people capitulated to the far left and let him go, which to me is also not plausible. Just because why now?
Yeah, exactly.
Why a video of her saying that? By the way, it's not the first time she said that. She
Oh
said that
yeah,
before.
yeah.
She says that all the time. She says people should get canceled all the time, and then says, "Well, cancel culture doesn't exist." It's like,
Right.
all right, lady, it doesn't exist when you do it, but when someone else does it, you're like, "Oh,
So
it's fine when she does it. If someone else does it, it doesn't exist." It's so stupid.
with Tucker gone from Fox News, who do you think can replace him?
I think they'll find somebody to replace him. I don't think it'll work. Um, the Fox News defenders, or the people that are, let's just say, not the biggest fans of Tucker and don't really care about Fox, they're saying that it'll be fine. Remember there's a trend at Fox that they can, and it's worked out marvelously for them and for us because we get great content. But they've been able to pick and plug, pick and install whomever they want at these primetime hours, and the shows do well. Jesse Waters at 7, Sean Hannity moves to 10 p.m. Remember, it first started. Glenn Beck used to be there at that hour, I think, or one of the hours, and then
Oh
he
really?
left,
Oh wow.
and then Bill O'Reilly entered. He got the time. I think they moved it into the time slot, and then when Bill was fired or when he left, Tucker took over and took it to another level. So they're probably assuming that we can find someone else, put him in there, and they'll do just as great. Now, I don't think so, because the two people I just mentioned, Tucker Carlson and Bill O'Reilly, they're unique people. Now, Bill hasn't done as great now, but I mean, he doesn't do bad. He's not doing terribly. I mean, he's gone this national. He's kind of transitioned. He's still, I think, he has a show on Newsmax, I think, and I think now he does. And I do know now he's on this national. It's like a tour where they go to arenas and he's like interviewing people and he's asking these questions. Trump was on it, was one of the circuits when was on one of the circuits with him, I think, in 2022.
Hmm.
And that's what he's doing now, and he's doing well. I mean, he's selling out these arenas and he's having these shows on where he pretty much does it live and interviews people live.
Right.
So he's doing that, and that works fine for him. Now Tucker's not going to do that. Now Tucker's unique. I think he's the only person at Fox who, again, wasn't an establishment Republican and wasn't afraid to criticize the establishment, wasn't afraid to offend people that would be the companies that would be his advertisers, like Big Pharma or the corporate, food industries or Budweiser or these big companies, BlackRock, JB Morgan. He's not afraid to do that. Um, so he's different and he's far more authentic
Hmm.
in his conservatism, or he comes off that way. Now, Sean Hannity is, I think fried. I think it's stale. I don't watch him. I'm not a big fan. I don't watch Laura. I'm not
Really?
staying up late to watch her. I do like Gutfeld though, but that's a different arena. That's
Oh
that's
yeah,
late night
yeah,
television.
yeah. Pretty
And that's
much.
more
Yeah.
comedy.
Right.
And so I like that show though, but it's a different show. You can't really compare them.
Hmm.
Um, Tucker, I think they'll probably find someone like Will Kane, probably, who does the weekends, and they'll put him in there and they'll say, "Here you go," or maybe they'll move up Jesse Waters to 8 p.m. and put Will Kane at 7 and say, "Here we go. We'll try this out." Um, but will they succeed? No, they're not going to get that audience. I think Tucker.
Oh.
I don't know what he's going to do, but I've heard things like maybe Newsmax. I don't think Newsmax will give him the audience, and maybe it will, but I just don't think so because you'd have to have the cable package for Newsmax. I think that's Newsmax isn't that. The Fox people that have gone to Newsmax, Eric Bolin and the other ones, they don't do. They just disappear. I don't
Right.
think Tucker will disappear. I think he can do what Megyn Kelly does: a weekly show where she's on Monday through Friday for an hour and a half, and she'll have a monologue and she'll bring on certain guests. And no, she has a good show. She does very well. She doesn't do bad. Um, he could do his own thing.
Yeah, I feel like that can be the right step for him. Earlier I did saw a little clip from Joe Rogan, and he mentioned that if he were to go to Rumble, it'll be big. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's what people say because apparently that's like the new arena for the right wing people. But remember the demographic that watches Fox. It isn't a young demographic. It's an older demographic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not old, but by the way, Tucker gets all the people. He's getting us, we're fairly young, and he's getting people that are older. So he's getting a huge demographic. Is that demographic going to Rumble? I don't think so. They'll stay at Fox, but they'll go online and they'll go to YouTube. They're not afraid to go to YouTube. They know how to do it. They can go to YouTube and they'll watch Megyn Kelly.
Hmm.
And they can watch Tucker Carlson. And Tucker Carlson comes up with a daily show, Monday through Friday, and it's an hour and a half long. Why not? Why
Right,
not?
right,
It's not a foregone conclusion that he'll succeed. In fact, it's very likely that he'll succeed. It just doesn't make any sense that it would happen. Um, Fox News is the only outlet I feel among the among the big news outlets that offers a counterpoint of view, and that just so happens to be the right wing point of view. So to me, they have a responsibility to not just the shareholders, but to really its viewers, because it's doing something unique that not and there's no other channel. ABC isn't bringing on Tucker. CBS isn't having on Candace Owens unless they want to attempt to ridicule her. They're not bringing on Charlie Kirk or Victor Davis Hanson or the other or Steve Bannon or other people. They're not doing that. They're not bringing on these conservatives on. They're not doing that. So Fox has a responsibility, I believe, beyond shareholder profits because of its history. And this is obviously a big misstep towards doing that.
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
we'll see. Their shares have been going down tremendously, but remember, that's just investors. The viewers, I'm sure, have been going down because who wants to watch a nameless show? It's Fox News Tonight. I think there's not even a name because no one's replaced it. They're probably trying to pick and choose. Um, people have been saying the other thing they've been saying is that maybe the text messages. Remember, he calls one of his employers, I think one of his bosses, cunts. Some of the people on the board, yeah, that's what one of the text messages came out. And look, I mean, you're allowed to not like your boss. That's fine.
I don't like
You
my
just have to
boss.
respect your boss. You just have to respect your boss, and I'm sure he respected them. He was never on a show disrespecting them. Like that never happened. Did you ever see that? No, I never saw it. So
I
that's
s-
the main point. That's the main thing.
Maybe I've seen it with Don Lemon though.
Yeah, Don Lemon, that's another case. He's disrespecting his coworkers not only off the set but on air. He's rude. He gives them side eye. He's snarky. He insults women. He insults minorities. He's arrogant, but he's also ignorant and uneducated. He thinks bigly of himself, but he just doesn't have. I mean, that one when the Malaysian Airlines disappeared, he said that he had a whole segment where he blamed black holes.
I think I
Do you
remember
remember
that.
that?
I think I
When the
remember that
Malaysian
actually.
Airlines?
I
Yeah,
think I remember that.
he had
Yeah.
an he had an entire segment that he said that black holes appeared on Earth and this is why it disappeared. And he was serious about it, like always. And then he had that other moment when he said that, oh, crime. There's no crime in New York City. Remember, he was with Chris Cuomo on. Chris Cuomo was on his
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
and he was saying
I
we
saw
just
that.
had a great dinner. There was no crime. What are they talking about? Like, it's like, all right, that's just ridiculous.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of shocked about his departure as well because I thought
Don Lemon?
yeah, because I thought CNN would try and keep him hold
No,
as much as he can. You
no,
know.
no. I saw the writing on the wall because I kept reading articles that week before that Monday, pretty much saying that he was getting into fights with his co-workers, that he was rude.
Hmm.
And look, people on the right are giving Vivek Ramaswamy all this credit for because of that interview they had, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy did not get him fired. It was because CNN and the ladies who work with him finally got tired of him. That's what happened, not Vivek Ramaswamy. Now that interview was stupid. I mean, he pretty much cut off. Remember, but you see it there. He cuts off his coworker, his colleague, who's about to ask him a question about China, a very important question, by the way, to a presidential candidate. And then he just goes off on this tangent about, well, you can't if you're not black, you can't talk about black problems.
Yeah.
What? That's like the stupidest thing I ever heard. The problem is that there's actually people who say that. They're like, well, you're not black, you can't say anything. It's like that's so stupid. Um, but back to Tucker, because Don, I mean, I expected this. It's not surprising. I mean, what a guy who should be fired and who should have never had the job finally got fired. I mean, that's a good day. That shouldn't be surprising. That should be celebrated.
Right.
Um, Tucker, on the other hand, um, we'll see what happens. I think he'll do well. I think he'll find, he can take his time at this point. The question he's probably thinking you know, is money that important? Do I need to be getting paid over 20 to $30 million a year like I was at Fox? And is there any network that would provide that to me? The answer is no. I don't think Newsmax can pay you that. I don't think OAN can pay you that. I don't think. But can you make a lot of money doing your own thing? Absolutely. I mean, the ceiling isn't the roof. The ceiling is the sky, the clouds. I mean, you can make an incredible amount of money. I mean, you can do what we try to do. Have a Patreon, set it up, get people have exclusive content like you did on Fox Nation,
I think you
do
should do that. Yeah.
documentaries, do films. You
Yeah.
can totally do that. Now, is it harder because he doesn't have the Fox umbrella underneath him? Yes. I mean, the Fox umbrella over him provides him with a ton of resources and connections, but does he need that at this point? I don't think so. I think he can do well. I think he can bring on guests. I don't, what I really like about his show is that he's really the only one on there, and probably on the entire media circus, that brings on guests of a different party. If you notice, he brings on people like Glenn Greenwald, Michael Schellenberger, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, who works at Fox now. But he brings on people that they're Democrats, but they're also liberals. They're
Hmm.
not just registered Democrats. They're liberals. They're progressives. They're anti-war populist Democrats. They're not the same. They're not just corporate Republicans, and he's not afraid to criticize them. And so the idea is that maybe finally it came time where he thought that he was free and that he had free reign to do whatever the hell he wanted. And finally, Rupert Murdoch, decided out of nowhere, out of the blue, no, you don't. You're not going to be saying anything you want. But it is an odd thing to do. It is an odd thing to do. I just don't. If you're about shareholder profits, I get it. You don't have as much advertising revenue, but the ratings are through the roof. They're better
For
than anything
sure.
you ever had. So
For sure.
you're
Yep.
making up stuff there. Did he get a call? Did people on the board? Look, that's all a possibility. But from what I heard from Megan Kelly, and I'll take her word for it because she knows people well connected. This came from Rupert Murdoch himself. It was a personal decision. He apparently had enough. It was personal, not business related. And unfortunately, you run a business, so these decisions should be business related, but they're not, and that's unfortunate because, again, what I said, Fox News isn't just an ordinary news channel. It's the only news channel in the world, in the West, mainly America, that offers a right a counterpoint of view to the liberal establishment that is journalism. It offers a right wing, a center right, so even conservative point of view, and it's mainstream. Honestly, Fox News is technically mainstream, and so it's an avenue to promote these views that you wouldn't hear anywhere else. And so if you're acting against that, that's acting against your viewers. Effectively, what he did is just insult his viewers and say, I don't care that you like him. I don't care that he's the best person on the show. I don't care that he brings in all these viewers. I don't like him. I don't want him here, or whatever reason, I'm going to kick him out. That's just not fair. That's just not right.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree for sure.
Yeah, and so we'll see what happens. I think it's bright for him. Let's talk a little bit about Biden. I have this. He released a campaign video, and so a video. It wasn't an event. It wasn't a rally. It wasn't a carpool. It wasn't a drive-through rally like it did in 2020. It wasn't live from the basement. Where he called somebody a junkie and then accused them of not being black later in another interview. No, it was a video with a bunch of. And you want to take a look? Do you want to see it?
Sure, I'm down. I'm
right,
actually curious on how this is actually.
No, this is gonna be awful. And let's check this out. This is it right here.
Freedom.
Oh my God.
Freedom. That's very ironic.
I know, right? It's just like, what is he talking about? All right.
Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy. It shouldn't be a revolution. To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it.
Unless you're white. Unless you're white, Republican, and vote for Donald Trump. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's like,
I wonder how much these actors get paid.
Yeah, it's like, well, they probably work for somebody. They're probably staffers or something.
But around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what healthcare decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love.
I can't take this serious.
I didn't even want to watch this the first time. The fact I'm doing this again is just ridiculous. I didn't even want to. I just don't want to watch this. But we're gonna have to do it, I guess.
All while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote.
Whoa! Pause. Go back like 10 seconds. What do you say about voting? No, yeah.
Oh, yeah, pretty much allowing you the freedom to vote because they're against IDs. So anytime a Republican says they want to do an ID or doing election reform, they just say, "Oh, because you're against the black people." So they just and you don't want minorities to vote, which is pretty much what they've done throughout their entire history as a party. But
care decisions women can make, banning books and telling people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote.
By the way, that's not in slow-mo. That's like literally what the speed that he was walking at.
Pretty much.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country. Thank you for choosing us. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. And this is our moment.
I still haven't found a white man in this montage.
Dude, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I still haven't found a white man in this montage.
Only white man I saw was he was wearing a Vietnam.
Was him.
Was wearing a Vietnam hat, and then on top of that, I'm like, where are the Hispanics and the Asians at? Now I'm assuming they're Hispanics.
No, just
Yeah. And he bited.
If you're with me, go to JoeBiden.com. Let's finish this job. I know we can. Because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
Okay, well, that was just a bunch of crap.
Is that his slogan now?
That's their logo, I think. I don't know if they have a slogan.
Let's finish the job.
Let's wreck America this time.
How long is it gonna take for him to finish that job? he's been in this workplace for how long? 50 fucking years, and now he wants to finish the job. Like,
I'm gonna be honest here, and I'm biased. That's not a bad video. It's just a horrible theme. You know, I mean, it's not.
Dude, I don't know if you noticed, dude. I was smiling the whole time because I thought it was fucking dumb. It's
dumb. It's dumb, but it works because the people that are voting for this man will buy it. So they're not bad at marketing. They're very good at marketing. I mean, look, it's not horrible. It's just stupid, but it's not horrible.
It's bad, man. Shut up, man.
You know why it's bad? Because, and I'm being unbiased here, see, and I won't be biased because I don't care. And I mean, he's talking about personal freedoms. I mean, which one?
Which one?
You want to get rid of the Second Amendment? You really do. You pretty much say there's no point. Why? It's like, well, why do you need a gun? Why do you need a handgun? Why do you need weapons? Why? You want to get rid of that. You obviously don't believe in the freedom of speech because while you don't do it, the people around you, they don't like the fact that people ask you questions. So first of all, you don't believe in the First Amendment because you don't answer questions. You get handed a press sheet that have the questions written down, who have the person's face.
True.
Of who's going to ask you the question in case you forget, apparently, because that's apparently a concern. And that's how you're running this. This video would work if it was an ad, not if it was your official announcement. That's the problem. I just don't know how he runs again. I don't know how he's going to do this. I have an idea. He'll be doing this. He'll be campaigning around 11 o'clock. He'll have campaign events from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then they'll fly him back to Washington where he can go to bed early at 6 p.m. And, have his tapioca, his little oatmeal, his orange juice, his whatever he has, his ice cream. And he'll be done. And then he'll let the media pretty much disseminate everything he says and everything they want him to do. Problem is that he has no agenda to run on. I mean, what? The highest gas prices in a long, long time, the highest interest rates in a long, long time, the highest inflation rate ever, the Afghanistan debacle, the disaster with the emergence of China and his apparent disregard for it, the billions of dollars that we're sending to Ukraine with no accountability. I mean, what record does he have to stand on? The fact that he's okay with letting biological men, be in women's sports, whether the fact that his Justice Department and the FBI went after teachers' parents in Virginia and then now across the country because his attorney general sent out a memo, but he says he never did it, and it's just a ridiculous thing. There's in just 3 years of his presidency, there's 6 million new undocumented immigrants to add to what? Then like the 15, 20 million illegals that are already here. I mean, tell me, what positive stuff? I mean, what job are you finishing? What job are you doing? That was never. I mean, they're going to try to roll him out. They're going to try to do the same thing in 2020 and say, "Oh, it's old Joe from Scranton, and he's back." Who, by the way, never existed. And he's going to go out and make it feel good, and he'll bring out the white suburban mom vote because they're stupid, and he'll bring out the black vote because they're compromised and they're going to vote for him anyways. By the way, you saw the themes in that video. What is he showing constantly? He's showing himself with black people. He's showing black people, black people, black people. Black people are the future of this country. That's what he's saying. He's not saying anything different. That's the theme. That's what they've been doing. There's no regard for Hispanics. They don't care about Asian Americans. They don't care that that Asian Americans are suffering the most crime ever in this country. And who's doing it predominantly? It's African Americans, but they won't ever mention that. So there's a disconnect between what he's saying, what the media will put out there because they're supporting him lock, step, and barrel, and whatever Kamala's going to try to say, and she'll never say it, and then what's actually happening. Remember, people buy into this. There's a reason why the Republicans didn't win the way they should have. And in a normal political climate, Joe Biden should not be rerunning for president. He should be Lyndon Johnson in 1968, quitting. He should quit. That's what happened. Lyndon Johnson could have run again. He didn't. Why? Because nobody liked him anymore. He was terrible. And what happened? Nixon won in a landslide against Hubert Humphrey, who was also unlikable. That's just what's going to happen. And so he shouldn't be running in a normal climate. And he wouldn't. In the Senate would be a Republican Senate in a supermajority in the House because of their record. But because people buy this crap that he's peddling, they're just going to do it. You're just going to believe it. And so, I mean, we're gonna have to end things here, but we're gonna come back after the break, and we're gonna keep talking about this. But there's so much to unpack here. I don't see how this makes any sense. I mean, the thing is good, but we'll talk to you guys after the break. Stay tuned. Stay with us.
Let's finish the job, guys.
Hey guys, it's Lewis here. Have you ever wanted to just unwind, watch some funny, dumb videos, and have a good time and relax? Well, you're in luck. Our friend Karen Deep has his very own gaming channel where he posts funny, dumb videos of his gameplay with his friends every day of the week. You can check him out at Crimson/Gaming. The link is down below in our bio. Check it out. Give him a like, subscribe. I'm sure you guys are gonna have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs watching his stuff. And in the future, he's even said he might do some gameplay videos, some walkthrough videos of your favorite games out there. So stay tuned. And I'm sure you will enjoy it. See you after this break. All right, and welcome back, guys, to the next part of our episode. I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're going to keep talking about Joe Biden 2024. All right, we left this last part about how the hell is he going to run for president again if there's no basement, there's no COVID. Now, we could always have another COVID.
Ooh.
What do you think, Andy? You ready for another COVID?
Oh, if they do another COVID, oh my God.
No, it's not going to work as the same anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same.
No one's going to listen. I mean, they're going to listen, but we're not. No one else is because there's no stock. There's no Fauci, which is a good thing, but I mean, there's no one.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be strong as before.
No.
Plus, on top of that, a lot of people have been woken up. So
nobody cares. I mean, even if they don't want to
shit.
wear a mask again, they don't want to do the lockdown again. No parent in this country, in their right mind, wants to keep their kids at home. Trust me, I know.
Oh no,
ridiculous.
It is for sure. No, everyone, a lot of people have been woken up.
People are not gonna do it.
People want to go back to work. People want to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. They are not gonna take this nonsense.
It's not like it's not like then where there was low gas prices and there was low food costs. Things are so incredibly expensive now that it would be unsustainable to live. I mean, it would be unsustainable to just stay at home and do nothing and have to work at home or not to work at home.
Exactly.
I mean, things back then were cheaper in 2020 than they are now. I mean, 4 to 5 times way more cheaper. And so, I mean, there's no record on Biden to stand on. I mean, what is he going to? What record? I mean, he talks about freedoms. He talks about dignity. He talks about respect. I mean, does he really respect the American people? Does he respect the people in East Palestine, which he really never really cared about? Does he respect the millions of people that are now having problems buying groceries every week? Does he respect anybody? No, he doesn't respect anybody. He doesn't care. All he cares about is his bottom line and its power. But it's also, I don't think he really. He's also, remember, he's just a vessel. He's a vessel for an ideology that can't get anybody in popularly. You
I
know,
I really want to know someone out there who really believe that he's the one that's actually running this.
oh,
Because it's really hard. But I do want to say something real quick. Like, I really hope the black community wakes up to this because this is literally obvious. Like, just think about this. What has he done that have benefited you guys financially, family, your kids, your health? You know, what has he done? And when you look at this ad, it's mainly about black people. Like, that's all I've seen. And like when you look at the ads and like the previous ads, whether it's Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Obama's always in it. Why is Obama's in it? It's because they're trying to get that kind of view. Like,
yes.
I know everyone likes Obama, but
Well, they shouldn't.
it's the usual same thing. Like, that's all I see.
Well, because he's
That's why I was laughing the whole video. It was so hilarious.
yeah. Well, it's because he's the creator of this entire mess. I mean, he's the person who made Democrats become the identity politics cult that they are now. He's the reason they're like this. He's the reason people believe, essentially, in broad terms, that their race is essential, and that they ought to belong and live and compart with and be with people from their own tribe. That black people have to be with black people. Don't try to be with white people. I mean, remember there was this who said it, but there was somebody who pretty much said out there like, "Oh, I don't want to be with black people." Oh, it was, I think, someone black who was like, "I don't want to be with white people." I forget who said it. I think it was someone in the community, and there was that guy who does the newspaper comics, Dilbert, who pretty much said that. Well, I don't want to be with white people. In response to that, because like,
Oh, I think I know. Yeah, I think I know. What you're talking
yeah,
about,
it's
yeah.
like, well, like this is a byproduct. This is a product of that whole mess, that toxic ideology that he's brought on. And so, yeah, no, the black community is not going to wake up because there's no incentive for them to do that. They would lose every single thing they have now. They would lose. They would just lose so much. I mean, the Democrats have given them everything. I mean, they've given them notoriety. They've given them fame. They've given them access to things. They've given the elites, the ones that make money, the LeBron James, the Dwayne Wade, the celebrities, the Oprahs, the etc. They give them so much notoriety and access. I mean, why would they vote Republican and lose that?
Mhm.
I said, I think, on the previous episode, if black people were voting like the Cubans do, 70% for a Republican candidate, they would have no affirmative action. Why? Why would they want that? Why would they care? They would do like this. They would do the same thing Obama did to the Cubans, take away their protected status, which means that Cubans before Obama's last year, Cubans could cross the Gulf, get into Florida, walk on the beaches, and be residents. They would have papers. They weren't illegal. They would have papers. Obama got rid of that, obviously, because he knew that they weren't his electorate. He didn't win them. They
Yeah,
didn't like him.
yeah, no,
They didn't like him. That would happen to black people. They will take over all those food stamps. They take away all that EBT. They will take away all that affirmative action, all of it, if black people voted Republican. And remember, the black elite is part of the Democratic plantation. Remember the Al Sharptons, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Jesse Jackson, every single one of them, part and parcel of the black plantation. So again, why would they? They're a fixture. They're just a community. Hispanics are going to get the brute end of it because the America that Joe Biden wants and that the Democrats want and foresee and have been pushing is a black majority country. That's what they want. That's everything you see. And so they spur this ideology on this idea, which is called the replacement theory. And then when Tucker Carlson talks about it, he's racist. But you're racist because you're the one doing it.
yeah,
You're effectively doing it. You're setting these quotas where essentially white men in particular, but white people in general, won't be selected for certain things. If you look at Stanford's admissions that are deeply low on non-legacy white students, they don't exist. If you're a white student at Stanford, it's because your parents are wealthy or they're legacy families, meaning your families went there for many years and they're donors and etc. Wealthy. But that just doesn't exist. And it's like, well, it's a whole continuation of the race the debate we have in this country, because we're demonizing a group of people in this country, particularly white men, but white people in general, that they die more in our wars. The suicide rates among them are higher than any other place. The fatalities to drugs are higher than most other of the other ethnicities. And yet we're demonizing them, but they die in our wars. And you hear people like AOC say the stupidest stuff, like, "Oh, she gets enraged because someone accuses her of helping military recruitment at a time where we're low on recruitment for the military." She says, "How dare you say that I would recruit? I would never recruit for the military. You know my record. I don't like what." Where are we today that in 2023 there's literally a sitting congresswoman say she would never help recruit for the U.S. military, which has to come save her ass if anything ever happens. So stupid, so pathetic. And
Yes.
then, and by the way, these white men who they hate, who are nowhere on Joe Biden's ad, because to him that's not a positive, or not even to him, because he's just a vessel, he's a puppet. The people behind him, which is the AOCs, that the Democrats aren't really, that's not a wing of the party anymore. That is the Democratic Party. The AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren wing of the party is the Democratic Party. There's no mistaking it. Just like how we say MAGA is the Republican Party of today,
Yeah.
radical left socialism, revolutionary socialism, communism is the Democratic Party. There's no escaping. Joe Biden is just the vessel they use to get elected. That's just the truth. If you want to ignore that, go ahead, be my guest. But that'd be stupid of you, because that's what's happening. And so again, they're using him as a vessel because they say, well, no one on our side can get elected. Nobody in the right mind would vote for AOC in a national scale. She'd get the popular vote because what is she? She's a woman, she's a Latina, and she's obnoxious and a Democrat. Perfect mix. They love that. But she'd never won the electoral college because people in Wisconsin and in Michigan would be like, who the hell is this lady? I mean, she's not like us.
She would also get wrecked in debates, man.
No, and by the way,
would
they're not having debates. Democrats already said they're not having debates.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck, but you're not getting anywhere because you're not having debates. They're not going to have primaries. What's the point?
That should really tell you guys everything, man. If they don't want to have debates,
But
you guys just need to wake the fuck up.
well, fuck the debate. It's the primaries. There's no voting. They're not going to have it. They're going to just cancel it. They're going to be like, Joe Biden's our nominee. What else is there to be? Like, what? And in a way, that makes sense in a normal world. I mean, no one's challenging Barack Obama. Nobody's challenging Bill Clinton. But when the president, like I said earlier, if we were in a normal climate, this president should never be rerunning for by the way, he shouldn't have been elected president in the first place.
No.
But he shouldn't be rerunning. I mean, he's awfully unpopular. But because the people have this idea that he's this old Joe from Scranton who never existed, they just buy it, and it's a scary thing. By the way, I don't know you mean people on the right don't see it because they think but they see Joe Biden falling off a bike and they laugh and they're like, "Oh, he's stupid, he's old." But people in this country, they just like Joe Biden for some goddamn reason, and it's scary. It's scary because he can win. He could win. That's what I fear, is that even if Ron DeSantis comes up, who Republicans, the establishment Republicans think is their new savior. I mean, he could run and he could very well lose to Joe Biden, and we're screwed for the next 4 years because, hell, he might die in the next 2 years, and then we're stuck with Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Yeah. If he wins 2024, I don't think there will be another America.
Oh no, it's finished. It's done. It's over with. It's like it's set. I mean, China's arisen in 2020. China's rising in 2023, and they could even do it before then because what's stopping them? Joe Biden? No, he's not going to do anything. I mean, we're really in a civilizational point, and to get back to his whatever the hell he thinks this is, there's just no way he can go on a debate stage and say, my record is this. Do you want to stay? I mean, do you like? It's like he says, like, well, let's finish the job. What job? Because there's nothing you're defending. What's your record? Oh, well, abortion. Okay, well, that's sensitive to people, and that might have played a hand in 2022 of why the Republicans didn't win the midterms. But
yeah,
Other than that, that can't be. You can't be a one-issue president during these troubled times. What are you going to say to China? Oh, I met with Xi Jinping so many times, and I'm the only one who he respects. Obviously not. Look at the record.
Yeah.
And then, oh, we're gonna get. I mean,
He thinks you're a joke, man.
what? He just thinks well, because they think people are stupid in this country. That's why the Democrats think they just think people are stupid in this country, and the people have proven them right, time and time again. They've had two choices: electing Joe Biden in 2020 and getting a Republican majority in both the Senate and the House in 2022, and they failed to do either. So I just don't see. I just don't see it. I just don't see. I don't see how he can win in a normal climate. But again, nothing is normal anymore in this country or in the world, and so there's always this scary idea that he could win, and it should be easy because he's an unpopular, old, bumbling president, incumbent with a terrible record and nothing good to show. He should lose. But with everything here, whether voting wise and the media wise, you never know.
I mean, when you look at it, like when you look at it this way, I think it's a safe bet that he is gonna lose because not only that, a lot of people don't want him to run again, especially from his side of his party. They do not want him to win again, to run again. So
They don't.
it's a win-win shot for us. Let's see it.
That they don't want. Remember, they didn't want him to run in 2022 in 2020. Remember, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren. They were all attacking him in the debate stages in 2020, pretty much saying that he's old, he's decadent, he's an ancient monster. I mean, Kamala Harris called him racist. Like they were ready to give up on him. They didn't want him. They wouldn't want him there. But the Democratic DNC selected him, and he won. And he should have never won because he was rambling then, and he's rambling even more now. I mean, when people say that, they're like, we don't want him, but they're going to vote for him. They're going to vote for him because the media is going to make the great case of making the election about Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis and not about Joe Biden. And Republicans, frankly, are equally, if not more, incompetent than they are when it comes to this kind of stuff. They don't know how to brand. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to give a message about abortion and about other things. They think they can stay in. They think it's the same thing about what I've said about Ron DeSantis is that they think that they can stick to these culture war topics like suing Disney and fighting woke people and think that that's going to work nationwide. It's not. You have to have a plan and a record. You have to do what Donald Trump is doing and talking about issues that really hit home. It's pretty much saying, I'm going to clean up our streets. I'm going to fix the crime problem. I'm going to clean them up by first off fixing crime and fixing homelessness. And then I want to invest in infrastructure and make things beautiful again. Bring out these plans. Instead of saying that, well, this is where woke comes to die, or saying that, I'm protecting your freedoms and then giving no proof as to what, or giving these little gestures like I'm going to sue Disney. What? Or, well, Disney's suing them, I think. And then
I think it's the other way around. Yeah.
Gestures. They don't work. And so, I mean, neither side knows what to do, and we're at a critical time. And so, look, I frankly, if I put my conservative hat on, there's no shot that Joe Biden should even win this election or come close. But because I live in the real world, and we said that in 2020, it's worse now because he has a record of ruining this country. He shouldn't win, but just because we know how things work in this country, when it comes to the election day, week or month, depending on how they do it this time, that's what's going to happen. We never know because, by the way, the same thing is going to happen. You don't think Mark Zuckerberg is going to go out and invest another $400 million? You don't think that the DNC is going to roll out dozens of attorneys to go to each state like Georgia, Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Arizona.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying. Yeah.
And sue these states so that they can have extended voting periods because of the basis of discrimination or unconstitutional law or because voting laws have been infringed on. That's what's going to happen. And then the media is going to disseminate, like I said, everything Joe Biden has said from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. because they can't get him campaigning at 9. He won't have any rallies. They can't have him campaigning at 4 or 6 o'clock like Donald Trump. He'll be there from 11 to 2. They'll fly him in, Give him ice cream. He'll be out there with the aviators. He'll be licking ice cream. He'll be sniffing girls. He'll be walking on the grass. He won't know where he's going. But the media will ignore that, and they'll just say that, oh, Joe Biden's doing a great job. You're over exaggerating. Oh, what are you, racist? What are you, white supremacist? Huh? Junkie? Huh, guy? Huh, Jack? Huh?
No.
I mean, what are you talking about here?
Where am I?
What are you talking about, Jack? Huh?
His story,
You're a dog-faced lying pony soldier.
his stories are amazing.
No, he just goes on these rambles. He's just like, are you vaccinated?
Where's my wife?
Did you die? Huh? Wait. He's like, wait a minute. Hey, you're nervous, huh? It's like, what is he doing? It's like he's gone. But again, for some reason, people still like him. For some reason, they shouldn't. He's rude. He's nasty. He's arrogant. His ego is as big as Texas, as Lizzo. He has an ego as big as Lizzo. And he's like, and by the way, he wasn't that as president. He was that before he was president. Everybody knew this, but they still like him. And that's the scary part. That's the scary part. He shouldn't win. And I don't think he will. The scary part is that he can. He has a chance. Regardless. People say Ron DeSantis could beat him. You don't know that. You don't know that. So, I don't know. It's scary. And we're out here on the show advocating and bringing up things so you can realize that what they're telling you on that plantation is a lie. It's not true. And please vote against it, because even if you don't care about yourself, think about your children or your siblings or your family or your neighbors or the girl you like's family, and you want a better country. And the only way to vote for a better country is to get rid of these jackasses that ruin everything they touch. They don't improve anything. Name me one thing they've touched that they've improved. California, in debt, disgusting, broke, and gross. Homeless-filled, crime-ridden, drug-ridden. Doesn't work for anybody, incredibly expensive. Chicago, Austin.
Chicago's a mess. Oh my god.
They ruined Austin. It's filled with homeless people. It has a housing crisis because everything's too expensive.
Yeah.
They've ruined that. Atlanta's going to be a mess soon. They've ruined the DC is disgusting. New York City they've ruined. Tell me, what have they made good? Tell me what's great about them. What do they do that's so great except destroying stuff? I'll wait.
I'll wait too.
I'll wait, yeah. And we're gonna move on to our next segment, our next topic. Elon Musk. He was on with Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
Maher. He might go on with Bill O'Reilly. Who knows? I mean, he was on with Bill Maher on his show on Friday, and he sat down for an extended interview, over 20 minutes, and a lot of interesting stuff happened. They talked about AI. They talked about They talked about this woke virus that Elon Musk claims that he invented. This term that he invented, the woke virus, which is just wokeism, by the way. Let's not give him too much credit. And he says the two things that it is that it's anti-meritocratic, but it's also anti-free speech. Okay. I agree with the anti-meritocracy part. I agree with both. I think he's missing some. Why is it? But I do like that he said that it's anti-meritocratic, because it is, and it's apparent that it is. Remember, what does it mean to be anti-meritocratic? What does it mean by that? Well, because people are hiring people. It's essentially hiring people on the basis of their skin color or of equality, because he's a family member. Like Hunter Biden gets contracts because Joe Biden's his dad. That's anti-meritocratic. Or because it's also corrupt. Or Kamala Harris is the vice president because she's black. That's anti-meritocratic. She has no talents to be it, but because she's black, she's the vice president. The Supreme Court Justice Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's only here because why? Because she's black. I thought she was going to be the Supreme Court Justice anyways, under a Democratic president, because of her age, because of her record. She's on the federal bench, etc.
How old is she?
She's in her 50s. Probably like 50, 52, 53, probably.
Okay.
But again, what's the main reason? Well, Biden said it. I'm going to elect somebody who's black. And then there was only two candidates. Like he said when he chose Kamala, he said, I want a woman And then he added, I also want a black woman. And that just eliminated everybody. And that just eliminated everybody's sensible. Any candidate that made sense was eliminated as soon as he said that. Because there is no black woman on the Democratic side that's qualified. There just isn't.
I'm also offended that he took out Indian part because she's also half Indian.
Well, she's apparently half Indian. I mean,
I am offended, Biden. Okay,
of course you are.
I'm literally triggered right now. I am going to punch this monitor so bad,
You won't.
but I'm not gonna do it because I spent so much money on it. Duh. Like,
Disappointing. And then, well, but she's like as Indian as AOC is Jewish, Hasidic Jewish. Like that's how India she is. I mean,
pretty much. Yeah.
but it's like she's never mentioned India.
No.
Whenever it's beneficial to her. And so he talks about anti-meritocratic and he talks about anti-free speech because they're anti-free speech. That is part of it, but they're also anti anything good. I mean, they're anti-decency, they're anti-order. I mean, they want women in men's sports. They're just anti a lot of stuff. It's not just anti-free speech. And so, he's right on the money when he talks about those two. There's a lot more he can add to it. But it's mostly those two. I mean, they hire people on the basis of their skin. They hire people on the basis of that they're Muslims or that they're Native American or that they're black or that they're lesbian. Why is Corinne Jean-Pierre the press secretary? Well, because she's black and she's a lesbian.
Yeah, she's the first queer press secretary.
Well, is she qualified?
Oh
No, absolutely not.
She is horrible.
Is Deb Haaland, the Interior Secretary, qualified for her job? Well, no, she only got it because she's an American. No, she's not qualified. That's the answer. Is the Health and Human Services Secretary, what's his name? Who used to be, I think, the mayor of Los Angeles. Is he qualified to be? No, absolutely not. But he's Hispanic, so he is. Is Mayorkas qualified to be the Homeland Secretary? No, but because he's also Hispanic, he is. And then you have this whole. I mean, is General Austin, the Secretary of Defense, qualified? Yes, but I mean, he was a lobbyist for Raytheon, and he worked in the corporate space, and he's only chosen because he's black. That's the only reason. I mean, he has no other qualifications for it outside that he was in the military. And this was after Democrats said they didn't want generals being as defense secretaries because of Jim Mattis. But now they do because it's a black man, and you can't say anything because it's a black man. And then he has the first gay transportation secretary, despite having no qualifications to do anything outside of being gay or anything else. And is he qualified? No. Is he good at his job? No. None of them are good at their job. None of them. And that's the point. They don't care about that because that doesn't get them anywhere. They don't really care if anything works. They only care if they can fulfill the broken promises of their ideology, that they're going to put people in the place because of their ethnicity, their race, their religion. But they have to be anti-white. They can't be white. If you notice, they have to be a woman. They can't be a white man. They have to be a woman. And that's part of it. It's like this toxic just poison that whenever it latches onto anything, it just ruins it. And then he talked about EVs. He talked about AI. Pretty much saying that he wants the federal government to regulate. Now, I'm not a big fan of
AIs.
I'm not a big fan of AI, but I'm not a big fan of bringing the government in to regulate anything.
Yeah.
Because, it doesn't really do a great job at anything. Just name me the last time the government did a great job. COVID, Afghanistan, Iraq, anything. And then I just don't. And then, but he also didn't he revealed himself as like he's a liberal because Bill Maher pretty much baited him into, he said, well, people think I'm a conservative and they think we're conservatives now, but it's like, I never changed. And then Elon's like, yeah, no, it's like, yeah, people think, but I'm just this. And it's like, yeah, it's obvious. He's a moderate left. He's a center left guy. That's what he is. He's center left. And I think I have the video here somewhere. I'm gonna put that out so we can check that out real quick and have a quick reaction.
I see a lot of people on Twitter shitting on Bill Maher for bringing Elon Musk in.
Yeah, he gets slack from both sides, which is actually not that bad. Um, he gets slack from both sides, so
that tunnel thing on traffic. He also
back to this
tweets a
real
lot.
quick.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, this is the whole thing right here.
Look at you. Wow.
Woo!
What, did I get the full order of things that you do in a day there? When I was reading there, I left out the tunnel thing at the end. Do you work on all these
a lot
things?
of jobs.
Do you do all these things every day? Do you work on all of them in a single day?
No.
No.
But I do have a long work day.
Yeah. So then that entrance is
What?
They do.
Yeah.
your favorite laugh.
I think is fantastic. I
Yeah.
love it that you have a sense of humor because a guy as important as you who makes changes
Yeah.
could use your powers for evil and not good. The fact
Bill Gates. pretty much.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
you could.
I would, of course, I would. Yeah, never use them for evil. That's
No, I
crazy.
know. But the way I know that is because you
That's
have a
the thing.
sense
Like
of
he just
humor.
came on here
yeah.
to like he's just like laughing, making jokes. I'm just like, all right.
Bill Maher's trying.
Serious.
He's trying to speak, and he's like, "Okay, like, shut up already." Like,
Yeah, it's like
You really do.
I
You
try
like-
to.
Yeah, you like laughing. You like to be
I
funny.
mean, I kill me.
Right. As opposed to somebody like Zuckerberg, who I'm not even sure is a real boy.
Yeah. I actually love comedy, and actually, many years ago, I actually was in the audience here and watched your show.
Oh,
So,
really?
I've been a long time admirer of your show.
Oh, well, thank you.
he's blushing.
yeah, no, that's just like yeah. And that's like most of the interview. They're just talking about
That's cute.
The access to information was very limited. Now with the internet, it's like having a nervous system. It's like any part of humanity has access to almost all the information of humanity. Like you could be in the middle of the Amazon jungle with, say, a Starlink terminal and have access to more information than the president did in 1980.
Right. Well, anything on your phone
Everything.
is
Yeah.
okay. So you are one of these dealers, these people who deal the cards.
I deal some memes too.
yeah. So he just goes on this like ridiculous like what is this? Oh no!
I think a lot of people thought when you bought Twitter that this is kind of an outlier. Like, how does this? What doesn't fit with these
Sure.
other things you're doing? I never thought that. Because I
yeah.
think you're dealing with big civilizational issues and problems, and I was right on your page. I think Twitter is one of them. I mean, you have talked about this
Yeah.
woke mind virus
Yes.
in really apocalyptic terms.
Yeah.
You should explain why you don't think it's hyperbole to say things like it's pushing civilization towards suicide. First of all, what is the woke mind virus? And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done. Tell me why you think that.
Yeah. So I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. So, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous. Is that it's often anti-meritocratic. You can't question things. Even the questioning is bad. So, another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously, people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
Every week.
yeah,
From left and right. I've had it from both sides.
yeah.
And
Yeah, so that's like it makes a good point.
Pretty
I mean,
much, yeah.
there's more aspects to it, but he makes a good point.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, he's
Get you thrown into prison. And they were like, well, we don't want that here. And by the way, in many parts of the world, including parts of the world that people might think are relatively similar to the United States, the speech laws are draconian.
England is quite different.
I won't name any countries, but
Why are we protecting them? They have no First Amendment.
Yeah, that was the one thing. It's like he was like so timid. He didn't want to mention them. Like
Why?
Canada
Why-
is
why do you
obviously
say
the
that?
one. Canada.
Why?
Like say Canada.
I mean, why did Elon say that though?
Well, they're talking about this was when they were talking about countries. Or they're talking about the countries in the world that don't have freedom of speech. Like why we're unique. We have freedom of speech. We can criticize our government. We can criticize society. We can say that, Joe Biden is doing a horrible job, and I don't like him, and I wish he was never president, and I hate him. I can say that, and I'm not going to jail. Or I can say that I don't believe in pronouns, and I don't want to call your pronouns because I don't have to. And biological men are not women. I can say that here. But if I'm in Canada, I can't. Or if I'm in
Yeah.
England, I can't. Or if I'm in England and I say that I hate the monarchy and I want to abolish it, I'll go to jail. Or I'll get targeted. Those type of things.
Oh,
And it's
Canada.
just call them out. Just call them out. It's Canada. It's Canada. It's the country that people love for no damn reason. And they're always like, Canada, they're just running around.
Canada's good with healthcare. Oh,
No,
there's two genders. Oh, the cops are here. Oh God. That's how it is.
No, and it's like
sad.
it's like
his daughters go to college in an example.
Goes
Letting the
this one.
kids
This is that parents, but I think like the parents are just generally not aware of what their kids are being taught, or what they're not being taught.
they're letting the kids think that they're equal.
I mean,
Yeah.
let me give you an example that a friend of mine told me, which his daughters go to college go to high school in the Bay Area.
Wait, pause right there. Pause right there.
And he
Real quick. No, Bill Maher's right though. That they're letting kids think that they're very equal. I mean, you've been there. Every time we have friends gatherings, they would always ask me the question like, "Oh, what would happen if your kid is gay, or
Right.
if your kid thinks that he wants to be a woman?" Well, since when do we let kids dictate like what they want to do and what they should think? Like
Right.
like they're not capable of thinking correctly,
No.
and they're not mature enough.
Not at all.
So it's like for him, yeah, like Bill's correct. Like they really think that at their age that we're all equal. They think like they're adults.
Well, they treat them like adults. But remember, this is also sinister. This is for political clout, unfortunately, for political clout.
Sadly, yes.
They're
Yeah.
remaking society, and they're pretty much just making political. They're making these kids political weapons now. Like it's disgusting, but they're just pawns. I mean, they'll turn trans, they'll turn a boy into a girl at 13 years old, and they expect that person to vote for the Democratic Party forever. They're now liberals. They're now part of the woke movement. They're part of the revolution. So, they tell these kids go out there and protest because you deserve the world. And remember, it's a sense of entitlement that they're given. These kids have this sense of entitlement that, as if they've done something,
Yeah.
as if they've worked or sacrificed, that they've now accomplished something, that they're the smartest. That it's this whole problem I have is on the left that they've always advocated for. And it comes from the academia that we're the pinnacle of human society, that we're the top, we're the best of the best we've ever been as a civilization, and that gives us some privileges over the people that have come from our past, and we're better. And so these kids think that they're better. And yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up here because we're running out of time. So again, I hope you guys check out our next episode. Check out our Patreon. We'll be talking about stuff like this. You can check us out patreon.com/4 the number 4 the Republic. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll try to be, give you guys some more content next time. All right. See you next time.
All right, guys. Take care.